What are some of the primary daily activities that your company, BG Productions Inc. does as a business-to-business marketing company?
Well, I produce radio and I do the casting for those productions. So it's important that I'm in touch with the talent pool and listening to reels and see who's coming up and who's doing something that will bring attention to my clients. Now there's an issue of union and non-union, so it makes it even harder to know what's out there, so you really have to be on top of it.
How do you maintain relationship management with the companies that you work with?
Well, my jobs are on a project-by-project basis, so I'm not in touch with them all the time. But between projects, I try and email them or give them a call to let them know anything that might be relevant to their business. For instance, Con Edison is one of my main clients, and when there was an explosion somewhere, I just check in with them to see how that might affect our advertising.
What is the first thing that you look to do when establishing a relationship with a business?
Okay. First thing I have to do is see what their needs are and what their budget is, and see if it's realistic to get them what they want within their budget. Once we know their budget and what they're trying to do, I'll ask questions like, who are you trying to reach? What's your target audience? And that affects the casting and who we bring in to try the spots. And the budget also affects where we can do the production and how elaborate the production can be. I like to let them know the costs of things like music and sound effects, so that there are no surprises. And then there's the issue of talent payment, which most clients don't understand.
So, more reputable people cost more money to...
No, it's not. It's union people.
Okay.
Not only do they get session payments, but they have to get residuals based on where the commercials run.
Okay.
So that could be a big surprise to a client if they're not aware of that up front.
What type of marketing tactics work best for your company?
To get business, you're saying? Well, it's just a matter of being in the right place and letting them know how experienced you are and how you've done jobs in the past that would meet their needs. And I try and speak whenever I can at conferences and get little blurbs in newspapers if I can.
When you're planning a new advertisement, what are the steps involved in developing your marketing plan or just to get your advertisement out?
See, I don't really do marketing plans. People come to me after they have their marketing plan, and they show me their completed radio spot and tell me what their goals are. And
so what are the primary activities for promotion motion on a daily basis?
Wow, what aren't the primary activities? So our main purpose as a company, because that's really what you start, is to develop and market products that consumers want to buy, period. So if we don't have a consumer like yourself or anybody else in our consumer set that's interested in buying what we want to make, then we don't have a business. And that's true for any company, right? So our real goal is to develop confection products and snack products that delight consumers, that are matched with the right brands for those products, that people will be interested in buying. And that goes to both consumers as end users as well as distributors and retailers that buy our products. So that's our primary business, and I'm happy to talk more about how we get there.
Okay. What's one of the things what's the most important step that you do there?
Wow.
I'm sure there's a lot that goes into it.
There's a lot of steps. Obviously having the right product concept and the right brand for that concept. So as an example, more than 10 years ago, the idea was hatched for Welch's fruit snacks, or to make a better product that was different than some of the other fruit snacks on the market. We were able to, get the amount of fruit puree in the product was higher, the flavor was better, the texture was better, but you still needed a brand to sell it under. So we went and licensed the Welch's name from the people who make juices. So Welch's Fruit Snacks was born. So I think in terms of what we do every day, it's developing products that people want to buy, and then sort of whether it's working with R&D or operations, and the sales team to craft the right story to first get the retailer or distributor want to take the product, and then obviously the end user, the consumer, to want to take the product. So there's so much that goes into what we do.
That's cool. So again, what are some of the activities that Promotion Motion uses to market its products?
Okay, so getting to the crux of it. There's two things. Number one, as I mentioned, creating retailer demand or distributor demand, so that the people, the intermediaries that buy our products and then sell them to consumers. So one thing we do is put together selling presentations to retailers. So why is it that you would want this product? How is it performing? Why should you want Welch's Fruit Snacks versus Fruit Gushers or any other product on the market? We use market research to do that. We use data, consumption data, to do that, to craft together the right story. We also put programs together for the retailer. So how are we going to entice consumers to buy the product? And whether that be advertising programs, print advertising, so we advertise in People magazine as an example. We do freestanding inserts in Sunday newspapers, which are the coupon booklets that you buy. We do digital coupons. We do social media. So Welch's Fruit Snacks is, I think, working on 800,000 Facebook fans and growing. So there's so many different pieces of trying to generate demand for both the customer and then the consumer. So working on all of that every day.
How do you maintain relationship management with the companies that you work with, whether it's the consumer or distributors?
Right. Well, from a distributor or a retailer relationship, a lot of that is obviously through our sales team, whether it's direct selling. So in other words, our salesperson might have a direct relationship with Costco or with Walmart, where we don't use an intermediary to help us. And you do that really just through building a one-on-one relationship, knowing the buyer, knowing what they want, what their customers want. How is Walmart different from Target, different from Costco, different from Stop and Shop, and on and on and on. So that's part of it. We also use brokers, which are companies and people designed to help you sell to customers, because we can't, with 15 or 20 salespeople, you can't get to everybody in the world. So you rely on third parties to help you reach distributors and maybe mom and pop convenience stores and things like that, vending operators. So that in terms of relationships, that's how we deal with customers. With consumers, obviously it's harder to have a one-on-one relationship, but I think social media has helped do that a little bit. So smaller companies or mid-sized companies, whereas years ago you couldn't compete with a larger company that had unlimited or vast financial resources to go advertise on TV or print or radio. And now with this thing called social media, smaller to mid-sized companies can actually reach consumers much more affordably and effectively. So there's that, and then there's more traditional vehicles, as I mentioned, like coupons or sampling or sponsorships. We work with Six Flags amusement parks. Welch's Fruit Snacks is a sponsor, so we're in all the kids' meals.
Do you stay competitive when it comes to packaging and pricing in a market that is so competitive, such as the candy and snack industry?
Right. Very good question. One way we do is scale. So the more volume we have with products and brands, whether it be Sour Jacks or Welch's Fruit Snacks or other brands, the more we can sell, the more negotiating power we have with suppliers to keep price down. And we go around the world to find ingredients and packaging material. So we have packaging material that comes from way overseas because it's just more competitive. So, and that's the job of our purchasing team, just to stay on top of those things. So there's scale and negotiation, efficiency in manufacturing, and then decisions on what the competitive pricing in the market is, and sometimes you may have to take the cost of goods down to be competitive.
Do you see any areas for improvement in the future, do you think, or opportunities for the future?
No, we've done it all. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You know, I think that the one constant is change. I mean, that's cliche, but it's true. And not resting on your success. So you know, you always have to be anticipating what your competitors are going to do, and trying to build your business, taking the strengths that you have and building off those strengths, but also building a new area.
As far as your team and the marketing department here, what is the kind of structure and responsibilities that, you know, certain people have? Can you just give us kind of like a broad overview of
Sure. So we have the brand team. So we have brand managers, and you know, we have a marketing director, we have assistant brand managers, and those kinds of things. So we're divided among brands or categories. So we have fruit snacks and confection and non-chocolate confection and things like that. So I believe that somebody has to own the brands, but we also have a sort of a matrix structure, and that people have functional areas of expertise, things that they're good at, things that they can contribute to. So one person, you know, has a link to our social media agency because that's sort of a strength. Another person works with our PR agency. Another person is really good at analytics and works on selling presentations. And it doesn't mean that not everybody does all those things. It just means that there's certain people that you have to rely on to help you. So we sort of have a matrix structure of both brand and function. Plus we have a small design team that helps us on packaging and advertising, things like that.